One of the great legacies of the Switch will always be how Nintendo gave their smaller titles a chance to shine on it. This is an era where Another Code got a remake, Famicom Detective Club got remakes and a new game, Pokemon Snap got a sequel, Nintendo remembered F-Zero exists, and Metroid Dread actually became real. And this deluge is showing no signs of stopping, as Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven are both getting sequels in the near future. But it also got me thinking, what Nintendo games would be perfect for a revival on the Switch 2? Which ones would work the best and have the most potential? Honestly, an argument could be made for every franchise, but I chose 5 to start with. And let's get the most obvious one out of the way first. Kid Icarus Uprising. Beloved on the 3DS, still talked about to this day, and a game that fans have been begging to get a remake for years. The control scheme infamously takes a while to get used to, and depending on the person, can be downright painful on the wrists. Taking the core experience and giving it a better control scheme while punching up the graphics even further was, and really still is, the dream. But the Switch 2 provides an opportunity to truly make the controls shine no matter the preference. And that all comes down to the improved pointer controls and the new mouse mode. Mouse mode is almost too obvious. The targeting reticle would be just as exact as it was on the 3DS, while allowing movement, dashing, and camera control to emulate how it was done on the handheld. It'd be the closest to a classic experience. Then there's the pointer controls, which we've shown in previous videos to be far more precise and less liable to go off-center across all Switch 1 games. This would allow the game to feel more like Sin and Punishment on the Wii in how enemies are targeted in flying sections, while keeping your thumbs free to easily rotate the camera while still pointing during the on-foot sections. Of course, the game would also feature the standard controls that people envisioned for the original Switch, as that would be the easiest for handheld mode. Essentially, the Switch 2 allows for the game to be controlled in any way the player may desire, while giving it enough visual polish that it could still look great on the console. Bring back the multiplayer in all its glory, and I think this could be a massive hit for Nintendo. Of course, all this can be applied to a brand new Kid Icarus entry as well, but that seems less likely with Sakurai currently developing Kirby Air Riders. Speaking of the control, ever since the mouse mode was hinted at, people immediately began thinking of one game, Mario Paint. It's the perfect time to bring it back or integrate it even further in a Super Mario Maker 3. How can they not do it when it's right there? And while I absolutely agree, I think there's more potential here. Yes, Super Mario Maker 3 makes complete sense, but I want to marry Mario Paint to something else entirely. The Art Academy series. These games on the DS and 3DS help players learn to draw, offering lessons on gradually more complex techniques that could absolutely increase that person's skills. But the Switch 2 offers an opportunity to take that idea and push it even further, as demonstrated by, of all things, Donkey Kong Bonanza. The 3D sculpting tool that the game offers could be expanded through Art Academy, so that lessons will now teach players about sculpting, 3D modeling, lighting, and other techniques that expand their artistic ability. And this is all while keeping the 2D lessons that have always been a part of the series. It'd be a celebration of art of all types, encouraging players to take that next step and learn. But that's why I want Mario attached to the game as well. Mario Paint offered so much more than painting tools. It allowed for music creation and animation. If this game, which I dub Mario's Art Academy, could offer a user-friendly and inviting way of letting players experiment with all forms of art, that would simply be wonderful. Add in the modern accoutrements of sharing online, and suddenly these creations could be shown to anyone. More importantly, players could create their own lessons showing and demonstrating their process that could then be watched and enjoyed by other players, something that was a part of the original Art Academy. Essentially, I'd love to see this game become a celebration of art, an entry point for new artists to find this passion and potentially make it grow. And I think highlighting the methods, techniques, and possibilities while also easily sharing them is a fantastic way at inspiring the next generation of artists, musicians, animators, and modelers. People have done amazing things with modified versions of Mario Paint. Imagine what could be done with this. The next game is one that's also obvious, but I want to put a not so obvious spin on it. Warioware. Everyone is already imagining all the possibilities that the Switch 2's new features could bring to the microgames, and I can't deny the potential. But that feels almost too standard and predictable. While Warioware would try to capture the magic of smooth moves on the Switch, the first game for the system changed how the microgames played entirely. Players took control of the different characters, and each one handled in different ways, which made approaching the microgames slightly different in every case. I want to take that idea and expand it even further, but this wouldn't be a sequel to get it together. No, I think it's time for the gameplay of Wario Land and Warioware to merge. How fun would it be if those individual crazy stories that happen in Warioware were expanded into full Wario Land gameplay? Wario would retain his classic moveset, Dribble and Spitz would drive in their taxi, Mona would take advantage of her camera, Jimmy T gets to use his dance moves, Kat and Anna could feel like Ninja Gaiden, Young Cricket would be more of a beat-em-up, 9volt is a nostalgia paradise, and Ashley could cast spells like crazy in a side-scrolling shooter. And by completing each of their mini campaigns, more microgames would become available, filling out the latest release and bringing that classic WarioWare feel to the proceedings. It's ambitious, especially with all the different gameplay styles, but fans love these characters and want to see more of them. And Wario fans miss his Wario Land styled gameplay. There hasn't been a new game in the series since Shake It in 2008. That is such a shame because so many of those games are classics in their own right. So why not bring them together at least once and truly make this lovable cast fully playable? Sure, the Switch 2 isn't exactly necessary for a game like this, but I think it matches the ambition. As for the title, I'm thinking Wario's Wareland. The next game also doesn't necessarily need the Switch 2's features to exist, but damn it, I just want to see the series return. Puzzle League. Whether through the original Panel de Pon, Tetris Attack, or Pokemon Puzzle League, everyone who tries these games falls in love with them. It's another perfect example of simple gameplay hiding an incredible amount of depth as players analyze what blocks could line up and then create an avalanche of combos. I'm not that great at the game, but it's probably the most fun I have with a puzzler. And yet, it hasn't gotten a new game since being included as a mini-game in Animal Crossing New Leaf all the way back in 2016. But that was only a small part of another game, and before that, it was Planet Puzzle League, which provided the gameplay but didn't have the pizzazz that Yoshi, Pokemon, or even the fairies helped give it. If Puyo Puyo has proven one thing, it's that character can go a long way in getting people to try a puzzle game. The gameplay will keep them, but crazy characters drive up the interest. It's why I initially tried out Puzzle League. So the solution is simple: Nintendo All-Stars Puzzle League. This would be Nintendo's chance for a massive crossover between their characters that isn't just Smash Bros. And because it would utilize an art style similar to Puyo Puyo, far more characters could be included and deep pulls could be possible. Who wouldn't want to see Isaac from Golden Sun smack talk Dylan from Dylan's Rolling Western? And that's the other key feature: a story mode like Puyo Puyo Tetris, or even the early puzzle leagues where there's some interaction between the characters before and after a match, and then the process repeats for the next one. It's simple, it's fanbaity, and I love it. Whatever excuse I need to bring back the series. Add in extra modes from across the series, a new mode to draw in old players, 4-player online or more, and bam! A simple idea that could really draw in a new audience for one of the best puzzle games around. The final game idea I have is one that Nintendo needs to take another swing at. It's time, and I hope lessons have been learned at this point. Star Fox. There's so much potential with the series, and yet Nintendo has barely ever stepped beyond the concept of the original. It looked like it could with Star Fox Assault and Command, but that was shelved in favor of telling the story of the original again and again with slightly new flavors. This new Star Fox needs to be a step forward while not forgetting what people loved about it. Namely, the gameplay should stay focused on the ship battles and exploration in the R-Wing, but the galaxy needs to be opened up. Essentially, it would take elements from Star Fox 2 and, yes, the team's playable cameo in Starlink. Imagine a game where a galactic threat emerges and the team has to hold it back while protecting installations across various planets. That would keep the spectacle that Star Fox often excels at while expanding it beyond a handful of stages. By protecting these planets, the team would be awarded with new parts and members. Those parts could then be used to fully customize the R-Wing and change its speed, defense, power, ammo types, and whatever other ideas that developers could cook up. Each new character recruited to Star Fox could in turn offer something new. Maybe instead of a bomb, they could fire an EMP that negates obstacles, or a super shield to negate all damage, or even a supercharger so that the normal weapons are multiplied in power for a short time. The world of Star Fox has so many possibilities, and creating new characters that strike a chord with fans in the same way as Crystal would be a boon. It would also lead to a ton of personalized playstyles as well as extras to unlock, expanding the game even further. But the biggest gimmick is that the 4 characters chosen for a squad in a mission would have the ability to merge into one giant mech to handle the bigger threats at the end of certain levels. It'd be a fantastic way of bringing even more spectacle into the series while also offering something new and ridiculous. And while none of these ideas are unique to the Switch 2, game chat could be implemented for the returning multiplayer. In fact, instead of having the player's camera hover over their ship, the camera could be overlaid onto the cockpit of the spaceships just for a fun bit of extra silliness. It doesn't affect anything, but it's fun. Star Fox can work again, and these are just my ideas off the cuff. I think the Switch 2 offers an excellent chance to make something happen. But that's all 5 of my ideas for what Nintendo series could shine on the Switch 2. What do all of you think? Are they good? Too out there? And what series would you bring back for the Switch 2? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to GVG, hitting the like button, and ringing that bell. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/gvgaming with plenty of extra perks. Until next time, bye!